I don't need to kill the lights, right? Or do you guys see? Okay, so welcome to B-Sides. Thank you for being here in my talk. My name is Arroyo. I am a communication specialist for the FAA. I also work with cyber communications for the Department of Defense and the Puerto Rico Air National Guard. I've been working with B-Sides for almost 4 years, and I've been working in security for almost 16 years. I do research, personal research, educational research. So for good purposes, of course. You need to always find a way to crack and break things, so you can find a way to actually fix them. So, you have to understand that that's something, that's a reality, right? Most people understand, especially in the military, that you have to know your enemy. Know your enemy well to be able to defeat yourself from that enemy. So we're living in a world where not many people understand this and don't understand the reality or how serious this is. And I'm going to talk a little bit about cyber warfare from the perspective that this is not a movie. Many people don't know that this is happening, that this is going on, and how serious or the impact that has on our economy, on our way of life, on everything. I'm going to go with the bottom line up front, so I'm going to go straight up and talk about what the specifics are on cyber warfare. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about what cyber warfare are, what are some of the threats, how this impacts our economy and law. And then see if any guys have questions. Okay, so when we talk about cyber warfare, what's the first thing that comes into your mind? What was that? War against computers. What else? War games, yeah, movies. What else? Black hats. So, when you talk about war, actually, there's more than just trying to do a port scan or trying to get into a system. You're trying to defeat something that's bigger than just trying to get into a port, right? So let's say, for example, have you guys heard about the Florida power down that it went almost 3 or 5 years ago? Actually, some hackers from Ukraine got into their network system and said, "Oh, look, let's press this." Nice. Okay, that's something that impacts more than probably 10, 20,000 people. That's a major problem, and that's when you find yourself that the government has no clue of how to defeat these problems. That's when it becomes part of something that we call a war. So some of these pictures that I have here are some of the Carisberry attacks, Norse IP attacks that they always post, constant attacks. And the thing that I want to make clear is that some of these, they put graphical interface on some of these attacks, but the main thing to get out of this is that this is constantly happening. This is not something that it occasionally happens, or it's something that it only passes in a specific amount of time, and then after that no. This is something that is happening on a day-to-day basis. And what are we doing about it? That's the main thing. What is the government doing about it? I'm going to explain later some things that the DoD is why the DoD is falling behind, and why the government is being under a rush about this specific problem. So check this out: 12.3 million malwares. So what does that tell you? From the defender side's perspective, what does that tell you?
Army is huge.
I know. We're trying to defeat, the guys who are doing from the security standpoint, we're trying to defeat more people that we can actually acknowledge. Because there's more guys doing bad things than guys defeating.
Good.
So, yeah, we have more jobs, we have job security, that's true. But, when your ATM does not have service, when your bank is saying that the cost of operation it's increasing, when you have power issues and you're down for a whole week, someone said it's a short circuit. Yeah, some sort of circuit happened. just one node killed the whole island, maybe there's something wrong with the distributing system. I'm just saying. So, this can get complicated, and then not all organizations are doing what they have to do to defeat this kind of problems. Like, let's talk about the health services system. Did you all know that the stealing of medical identity is the most lucrative crime right now? So, these are things that you don't understand the impact that they have until you're going to get a heart transplant and your insurance is saying, no, we already covered that. We covered that in California a month ago. You're like, what? And this is, it can cost someone's life. And I put in the title, this is not a movie, because some of the things that I'm talking about are things that are happening here in Puerto Rico. So these are not things that are happening in a movie that we see in Hollywood. We worked on a case where we had to do forensics on this medical clinic because he got a ransomware, and basically all his system got shut down. EPA certified equipment. EPA certified electronic systems. Yeah, EPA certified. All got ransomware. All electronic records got compromised. So, this gets to a point where it's not just affecting it's not just some real nice pictures on a screenshot. These are things that are happening on a day-to-day life, and we have to be aware of them. Why do we have to be aware of them? Because if we're looking at it from the perspective of defenders, we have to know how these things are happening or why are they happening, so that this awareness can create some ways of mitigating this problem. So, like I said earlier, this is some of the issues that you can see. And OpenDNS has this system, which is very interesting because it provides some information of what is it that's happening. What are these botnets? What are these ransomware? What are these malwares? And these are some of the things that when you're aware, you can actually find ways to contradict these things that are happening. Where are these incidents happening? So this gives you an idea. This is a digital another map that you can find on the internet. And actually, you can see where all this traffic is going. You can see that this is something that is affecting our day-to-day life. These are just pictures to prove a point. And as you can see, these constant attacks tell you that we need to do something more about it. We need to do something about this problem. So what's the bottom line up front, right? So over the decade, these increases have caused a lot of problems. They have not just problems, they have caused economic issues with regards to everything that has to do with defending network. I don't know if you, who here has a bank account with Banco Popular?
Everybody,
Let's
right?
start talking names, right? Let's just start talking names. So Banco Popular increased their service rate. I think it's $10 per year. I don't know if you noticed, but every time they charge you, it's they say that it's a fee behind their maintaining all their network systems, right? But did they ever report to you how many times they've been attacked on a daily basis? Do you as a customer have an idea? Now, I have another challenge for you. Do you as a customer ask them, hey, why don't you give me a report of what's going on? How secure is your network? Does anybody go to the doctor and say, hey, do you have a secure system? How do I know my electronic file is in good hands?
Because the last time you asked, you ended up being a paraya.
No one is asking these questions. That's what I mean by my point. No one, and not asking these questions is what's causing the major problem, because as all of these implementations of electronic record systems go on and no one's actually saying nothing about it, then they keep happening. So this is something that we have to take care of. So daily attacks, some of those attacks can happen without no cost. How much does it cost you to actually download, let's see, any malware creation mechanism? You can get them from the internet, right? We have friends here that create codes for them on a constant daily basis. And you can create your own exploits, right?
But what do you do?
Meta
But
exploit.
Jose, people just don't know to ask these questions.
Yeah.
They don't know.
That's why you have to come to these kind of presentations and understand, and get involved. That's one of the things that I want to, create here. So I mean, download how hard is it to download Metasploit and create an exploit and just throw it in the network? It's extremely easy. It's free. You get some 10-year-old with a YouTube video, is teaching you how to do this. So, these are things that you have to consider. While ScriptKitty is actually downloading stuff, some of us that are trying to work this from a professional perspective are, sitting here trying to defend against these scans, against these daily attacks. So these are things that are causing a problem to the big scale. Now, these are just basic things, but what happens if a big nation actually uses this against us? Then the problem becomes more serious. So all this cyber war, it's becoming the silent world war right now. This is something that's happening. And we have attacks from all over the place. So we have enemies everywhere: Ukraine, Russia, China. And so I'm going to tell you guys, do you think Puerto Rico is exempt of that?
No, it isn't.
Where do you find Ukraine people on Puerto Rico? You guys know? Clasificados online. That's where they're at. And you know what they're doing? What are they doing? Social engineering. They're posting a car on Florida, and they're saying, "Oh, send me money. I'm going to send you the car, and it's going to be, it's not going to cost you anything. I'll pay for everything." People don't realize, like, car in Florida. This guy's selling it. Let me see. This car's worth $15,000, and he's selling it for $5,000. So these things are happening. They're happening on a day-to-day basis. So we have to be aware of that. Probing networks. What else? Individual, just computer-to-computer hacking. So they use all the information they can to actually try to get into your network and find ways to get into it. So who's our enemy? Who's our enemy? You guys know. It could be the guy sitting next to you right now, for all I believe, right? Nothing personal. Okay, okay, we say hackers, and I hate the word hackers because, from my perspective, hacker is someone with an interest of finding more information about a specific topic. My mechanic who works with calculators can be a hacker. He knows where to put that bubble gum in the exact spot on the carburetor so that it works better.
That's right.
It's true stuff. And once that bubble gum gets hard and it's there, and it creates this effect, and you you just got yourself the sound of a Mustang instead of the sound of a cheap car. So those things. So someone that knows more about the network, not just know about the network, but actually knows about the code behind that network, it's someone that I call a hacker. Doesn't necessarily mean that guy is going to do any harm to the network. You know what I'm saying? Because you can get a doctor who's doing Social Security information on the background, and he's selling that, and he's a respected doctor. But if he's selling Social Security numbers down, does that make him a criminal? There were like 10 of them that got arrested a couple of years ago, right? So, terrorists, hacktivists. Now, hacktivists, sometimes they have, like Anonymous, sometimes they have a purpose. it's not necessarily a bad one or a good one. You know, a lot of people want to kill Snowden. You know, but he actually, you know, put the word out. Did we know that that was happening before he, you know, blew the whistle? Who knew?
We suspected.
You know, so these kind of things are, you know, something that you have to think about. And actually, the military. So I'm going to joke about the military later on. You know, like, for example, for every cyber operator U.S. has, our enemy has like 10 of them. So this is our reality that's actually killing us right now. Because I don't know if you guys have heard about the difference, but these guys go to a real serious training and they start indoctrinating them, you know, 10 years old. Before they even get to college, they already know 3, 4, 5 programming languages. They already know coding. They already know networks. So these guys here, they're just regular fools that say, yeah, I want to join. They join, they take them to an 8-month school and go defend your network. Ta-da. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. And you know, you try to tell people it doesn't work like that, and you know, this perspective is not just from the military perspective, it's also from the academia perspective. You get your bachelor's on what's the name of that? Social sciences with a background on computers, and that doesn't mean that you're ready to defend a network. That means that you probably know Cobalt, you know a little bit about C, you know Visual Basic, you know. So, but I mean, do you know IP? Do you know what denial of service is? Can you read a log? These are things that, you know, are you have to be aware of them. So this is what's actually costing us money, because for every operator, 10 of them are actually running what? Port scans, are actually finding vulnerabilities, are actually finding ways to get into our systems. And once they're in, you know, I don't know if you guys heard, Pentagon got hacked. Who else got hacked? NSA got hacked. Come on, don't be afraid of naming them.
I got hacked.
OPM got hacked. FBI got hacked. Doesn't this create like what? All these people are getting hacked. When have you heard the Russian mafia has been hacked? Have you ever heard Russian mafia just got hacked? No.
Let's hack them.
So, you know, Library of Congress got hacked, and you keep hearing this news, and you're thinking about, wow, you know, how does this affect me? There you go. Someone found it. Okay, so reality is that what are we doing about it? Now, some weird guy said that the World War IV is going to be the social sciences war. And I truly believe that. Why? Because it is a reality that's happening right now. We got ISIS all over the place. In our minds, in our Twitter feeds, in our Facebook feeds. And these guys, they're doing it the smart way. They're actually using open source intelligence to capture all of our little posts on Facebook, trying to put them together, trying to see how they make sense to actually find a way to attack us, to attack our day-to-day life, to find sympathizers. How crazy is that? Someone from the other side of the world is finding guys that want to join them to do crazy stuff in our house. And you know, this is not a movie. When you see it in the news, some crazy guy joined ISIS and decided to shoot down a couple of military guys that were just sitting down getting some breakfast. That's when you realize, you know, things are getting serious. So the impact that this cyber war is coming into our way of life, well, you can say that yes, it is. And it's affecting our day-to-day status. It's just that since it doesn't directly affect me, then people don't care. But when you put the big picture on it, then you say, whoa, you know, something else is affecting me. Once it starts affecting everybody's pocket, which is going to be pretty soon, then you know we're going to realize that it'll probably be too late to actually do something about it. So numbers, they keep increasing. Now, do you think that we have any hope? Do you think that is there something that we can do about it? Like I said, medical health care, one of the most lucrative. You can go to any dark nets. If you guys use the onion ring, anybody? No? Yeah, whatever. You don't know what I'm talking about. So, if you search through, you can find that, you can get a liver for $2,000. You can find, these things are exploiting our day-to-day life. They're impacting small businesses. I mean, do small business owner put that amount of effort into securing their systems? Should they? Well, let me tell you that if you don't think that it's impacting you, if you promote them by buying their stuff and their internet transactions for their credit cards are not secure, guess what? Maybe your credit card number is out there in the loose right now. So these are things that you say, oh no, it's not affecting me, but let me check my credit score. And there's where you can find the impact. So, like I said earlier, what's the problem? All we see in the news is that, the people that are supposed to protect us are getting jammed, right? On a day-to-day basis. OPM, 5.6 million people, all federal employees, to include DOD, to include FBI, FAA, yeah, FAA too. Yeah, so if planes start to fall down, problems are going to start happening. And you know what? Let me tell you something funny. FAA just to prove that they're going to use texting to communicate with air traffic controllers. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, they heard that.
So, no texting while driving, but yeah, texting while flying. Yeah, that's awesome. So, these are things that are happening. So, let's put it on our perspective. So, if a plane is going to support SMS system, that means that they're probably going to have a router, right, with internet capabilities of connecting to that plane, and that would give us to a provider, so that provider could send all that information to the antenna that's connected on the air traffic control side. So, is there a lot of places to explore? Yeah, there are places. There are things to explore, and then these things to explore, keep on bringing more information. Like, maybe I can get some flight data. Huh? Maybe I can find some nice metadata out of that flight patterns and, find out some other stuff. Maybe everybody that's using a credit card on board can be something that I can sniff. Ka-ching. So this is how all this is affecting us. And then, like I said, the ISIS kill list. Who has not heard about the ISIS kill list? Really? Okay, so let's go back. All these people got hacked. People post information on Facebook constantly, right? On Twitter. They say, I'm on deployment. We just installed our new system, and they posted on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm an expert on VMware Sphere 10.6. It has a new virtual platform that virtualizes your platform. And you start talking about that, and guess what? Someone's listening. Because if I'm listening to that, I know, let me see what are the new vulnerabilities that VMware has. And let me see, how do I attach that to this guy? Well, let me see what's his @ sign say. At myowncompany.com. And it's very simple to just take a post. and grab that post and connect it to actually a person, to an actual server, and from an actual server, get that into personal information. So imagine the military posting when they're deployed. Imagine the FBI posting, well, the FBI, at least the FBI take care of, the posting. They'll tell you, don't post about something, or get your account erased before you start working with us. But not many other organizations do this. Private sectors, they don't do this. They have rules of engagement for social media, but are they monitoring it? What's it worth to have a paper that says you're not going to post anything that's job related on your networks? How do they know that all their employees are complying?
They don't sign the paper. They just scared with their priority 86 when you need to lower the payroll.
So basically, if they don't find a way to actually understand what their employees are doing online, then guess what? They don't know. They don't have a clue. And that information relates to something that ISIS can use. So they created what's called the ISIS kill list. What's the ISIS kill list? Basically, anybody that is doing something in the effort against ISIS is going to be tracked down, and it's going to be posted on the dark nets saying this is someone that we want that we want dead. And if you put it from the perspective that these people are finding ways to encourage other people to join their effort, do you think this list is something we should take serious? Well, let me tell you, they have like 34 operatives from the FBI in Puerto Rico just for veterans here in the island. Knocking on every one of their doors. So imagine this. Someone knocks into your door. Yes, what's wrong, officer? Yeah, you're on a list. Some people want to kill you. Let me ask you some questions. Whoa. Really? Well, I haven't done anything bad. I mean, I just take the dog out every now and then, and I go to work every day. Yeah, but maybe you posted something that's related to your job, and maybe that linked you to this. So this is something that's happening not just here in Puerto Rico, it's happening across the U.S. So they're trying to track down and see if these announcements are real or not. But if you take it from the look of a cyber warfare perspective, this is what they call psychological warfare. I'm actually telling these people on a day-to-day basis, you suck. You can't do your job right. Look all the information I have on you. And that creates this feeling that you don't have enough power to actually overcome this problem. And then people start going hands down on it. And then they start defeating and winning the purpose. Because if they're on the news on a daily basis, beheading someone, they're winning from my eyes. And the military, the federal agencies are kind of clueless about the situation. But sometimes we, from the technical geek side, we always have solutions to all these problems, right? What's one of the solutions that we can implement? Open source intelligence. Every 60 seconds, 100 new accounts, 320 new Twitter accounts, 600 videos on YouTube, 60 new blog posts, 168 million emails sent. So do you think there's enough data to analyze out there? Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have the servers that, how do you say this, how do you call these people? NSA have, right? But, we can probably build our own little lab at home and get some of this information out. And this information can actually lead us to a lot of other information, right? So we can create a very simple open source intelligence model, and we can actually extract all this information, try to put it on a data warehouse, and then start doing analysis. Trying to figure out, okay, what's real, what's fake, what can I do with this, what can I do with this? You know, we were talking about earlier in the chill room, that's the hard part of this. Understanding all of this data and actually saying, you know, oh yeah, this is some guy whining, yeah, this is some guy actually complaining about something that, you know, might trigger some other effect that I want to take care of or I want to listen or pay attention to. So that's something that could be done. And actually, instead of spying on us, on what's happening locally, we can start spying what's happening out there that might be affecting us. That's an initiative I've been trying to get the NSA to do, so if someone knocks on my door, then you'll see me on the news. Social network analysis. How many of you guys have heard of this? So you actually you study interactions. What are they talking about? Who likes what? Who has more influence on what on that specific network? And then you grab all that information and you combine it to text mining. How many of you have heard of text mining? You can actually grab text, and all that text, you combine it with specific interactions, and you say, yeah, this might be Al-Qaeda. And yeah, his power, you know, this is his posse right here. You know, these are the network influencers. So when the central node, you know, sends a command out, all these people interact. Do you think ISIS knows about this? Hell yeah. They're making this work. Do you think we're making this work? Well, we're there. We're getting there. FBI is already using this method. So, you know, it's slowly but happening. So when there's a lot of interactions, something that can be very basic, like, yeah, how does Diane affect Heather, and how does Heather talk to Jane, you know, can become something even bigger. Where if we combine it with not just, like I just said, if we combine it with texting, we can understand not just the conversation, but the interactions. And once we put those together, then we can find a criminal, we can find someone that's doing actually something specific. So, data mining, yeah, that's what the NSA is doing. We've heard about that. That's another thing that could be done. The government, instead of just finding ways to understand what the people in the United States are doing, or what the people in the federal government are doing, then, you know, let's use this as a tool to counteract our enemies. This could be another method of finding, and this is a very simple method. You just get whatever is on the internet, and like I just mentioned, just get data, just get texting, and all this information, just organize it in a way that it can be understandable. And once you understand that information, then, you know, you can determine specific complex procedures, like what are they doing, where are they going, what. You can even actually put it in a predictable model, and actually, you know, what are they intending to do. And you want to hear something that's very real? Who's using this information? Who's using these methods right now? Además de Google.
Bioinformaticians.
Data scientists.
A couple of data scientists. Some of us are using it. But who do you think it's taking real benefits out of this?
ISIS.
The people you don't want doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Your marketing department. Yes. Someone's using open source intelligence to understand what books are you buying. What books are you going to buy? What possible books will you buy? Someone's thinking about, you know, all the jewelry that you just bought. Someone's, if you're sending specific emails to someone, then, you know, that's how Google knows. That's how Bing knows, you know, what specific commercial are they going to put on your ad? Are they going to put on your emails? Or what specific feeds are going to come in once you start typing stuff on your browser? So yeah, the tools are out there, people understand them, but is the right people using them? I know we want to buy stuff, we want to constantly be buying things, but there's something else happening that's affecting our day-to-day life. So these are the things that governments should say, hey, let's start using this to defend ourselves, you know. And not just government, each of our own little companies, we can start our own data mining lab in our organization and, you know, use it in our favor to understand what traffic, we can do a traffic analysis and say, yeah, these are the people that are coming into our networks and this is, you know, where they're coming from. And maybe you can treat your customer better, and maybe if you're being attacked, then you can know where these attacks are coming from and find ways to counter defeat your attacks. So, who has ever heard about Maltigo? Yeah, so Maltigo is an awesome tool. I talk about Maltigo because there's an educational license that you can get, and actually it does social network analysis, it does data mining, and you can put all of these technologies together to actually work. If you use the educational license, I think it'll work for a month or two, but you know, I'm not a Maltigo reseller, so you know, don't kill me, I'm just putting information out there. And you can use this tool to actually learn about different perspectives or things that are going on the internet. And you can study this information and find, you know, what specific influence are happening through the system. The cool thing about Maltigo is that you can analyze whatever. And when I say whatever, is that you can analyze a phone, a mobile device, you can analyze a root server, you can analyze a specific email, you can analyze a lot of different individual things and actually put them together. I've used this tool to catch criminals. I've used this tool to catch or find patterns on specific. I worked with the Interpol 2 years ago. We put a honey net here in Puerto Rico, and sadly, we got like 7,000 pedophiles. Yeah, it's nice and it sucks. It's nice that we can use this technology to capture these guys, and it sucks that there's so many of them. Because you don't know who they are. You know, we have to really work hard to actually find these guys. So, you know, I have 4 kids, so it's disturbing. What's the impact that we have? Well, I've talked about this already. It's destroying our economy. It's killing us on a day-to-day basis, and this cyber warfare is happening with, you know, big guys that are really influencing us. So, you know, Russia, China. Some people said that, you know, India. Well, you know what? There's a lot of good software developers in India. So, I mean, these guys know math and coding since they're 3 years old. And you know, yeah, I'm not trying to be racist. This is true. It's a true story. I have a friend from India, and he's teaching his kids how to code on the Raspberry Pi. Little kids already editing Python code on their Minecraft games. I want to make big castles using Python, you know, and these guys are already doing it, and they're 5, 6 years old. So now this could be funny, but it's reality. How far away are we? I'm almost 40. So if you put that in a perspective that these guys are learning code, these guys are learning all this technology, we have to catch up if we want to use, because these guys, you know what? That's going to be embedded on them. By the time they're 10, this is going to be natural for them, you know? So maybe WPA is, instead of 20 minutes, it'll take 10, or maybe it'll take 3. Maybe it'll be old technology and they'll have something else because, you know, oh my God, that's so basic. So we have to be aware of this, you know, and no one's spending enough time. Every time you try to talk to your boss about budget, about, you know, investing on security, they look at it from the perspective that that's lost money. And to me, this is horrible. Because, exactly, hasta que pasa algo. No le ven la... Ay, dice que es macho y...
Sure, I tell you so.
You know, and you don't want to wait until your whole business is down to actually do something about it. You know, you don't want to get your ransomware all over your place and some geeky guy telling you, yeah, you know, give me $500 and I'll give you your network back. You know, you want to be proactive about this situation, not just from the perspective of defending yourself, but from the perspective of knowing what's going on. Reading news about the situation is not, I encourage everybody to sit there and geek out. Search the net. Search what's really happening. Do you think the news is actually reporting what's really happening? I invite you to do a trend analysis in Puerto Rico, and you will see what really is happening, what really is going on. Nothing compared to what the news is reporting. Because the news is reporting what some people think that is news. You know, what's happening with the government, how are the candidates running, what do they say, you know, but no one's talking about how many medical people have left the island, how many doctors have left. No one's talking about, to get a good specialized doctor, it takes 6 months. And when you get to that medical specialist, you have to wait 12 hours because, you know, he'll have a sign saying, we are overwhelmed. If you want, you're free to go if you want to, but if not, don't complain because this is how it is. And in reality, that's how it is because he's the only specialist around. So who's talking about this? Is this impacting our day-to-day life? Yes, it is impacting our day-to-day life. Because if you try to get, you know, so if what happens if too many people get sick about the same specific thing, who knows how to deal with the situation? Nobody. You know, I'm trying to tie in technology to what's actually happening so you can understand, you know, the reality of the impact that cyber warfare it's having on our day-to-day life. So when the government does not do anything about it, then it actually kills us. So let's talk about the law. How current are we? I worked on a case in Puerto Rico, this geek guy, he was having some issues with his life and he was harassing women. So he decided to create thousands of Twitter feeds and just start harassing women. Well, he started doing this in 2011. And the Code of Justice in Puerto Rico was not adapted to that type of criminal offense. So, you know what prosecutors were telling victims? Close your email accounts. Close your Facebook. So that's, to me, that's the same thing as someone shooting at your house and the cops are telling you, just hide, dude. Just hide. Wait for it to go by and then you'll be good to go. And actually, it took us 2 years to investigate this guy, to actually find a way to connect interactions in the internet with someone, a person. Not because we didn't have the technology, it's because how do we explain this in the court of law? That's what's making it hard. Huh?
One of them. The other one is the chain of evidence.
The chain of evidence. So, connecting all these dots, it's a challenge. And what's more challenging is actually finding that technology, but then getting this technology and making it something legal, so that your case can withhold or withstand trial. So these are some of the challenges that are happening, and these, you know, if we don't adapt to these changes, we're going to be in trouble. And some of the governments are, you know, slowly adapting. Our Code of Justice in Puerto Rico changed in 2012, finally, and thanks to those changes, then, you know, we can actually the case is happening right in this guy, and it's being prosecuted. So if those changes would have not happened, then whatever, he would probably be doing his thing right now. So these are things that we have to, be aware. We have to increase our education. So you guys are already doing something about it because you're here. I mean, not just because you're here in my talk, but just because you're here, you're trying to learn something, see something that's different. You're already doing something changed. But we try to sell 200 tickets, and it's hard. And this is a topic. And I'm not saying this just because I'm an organizer, but back in my days, if I wanted to go to DEF CON, it was a $5,000 sick in the sand kind, to actually get to Las Vegas. And not just that, that's just to try to get there. Getting the ticket and actually being there and trying to, interact with all these people, that was something else, And so we're getting to a point where it's important to understand for you guys to help us spread the word. The quality of the information that we can get here, the quality of the speakers. This is some good stuff to help us promote a better Puerto Rico, a better United States, a better world of technology. These events are something that you have to encourage and get people to be and participate. So education is a constant. And like I said, not just your regular Security Plus certification. Who here has Security Plus? Okay, so, not just certs. Certs are good. They're good for human resources.
They get you in the door.
They get you on the door. But if you don't know how to read a log from a firewall, you are no good. I'm sorry. I know this pisses off a lot of people. You are no good. Because you know what? When shit goes down, when your router is being attacked, if you don't know how to defend it, you're being owned. So these are the things that, we have to say, I want to be different. And let me tell you, you don't just become an expert. You have to day to day. Just get your own router, get your own IP tables. It's free. Download it, install it. Analyze your own traffic. Who's scanning me? And you can just understand this is things that you can just do out of yourself. What these little kids are doing. You know why they're hacking your Wi-Fi? Because they want to have YouTube. Because they want to have the way to connect their little devices so they can play and connect with other kids. But when that gets to a point where it's malicious, it's a problem. And some parents are saying, I'm not too technological. Yeah. But you're giving your kid a gun when you're handing him his PSP and you don't even know what he's doing with it. So these are things that we have to, be aware and understand. And I've talked a lot of crap. So, any questions?
Is there any motivation for the school systems here in Puerto Rico to start teaching computer technology for their children?
Well, I started to create how do you call this? Una propuesta, a proposal to actually get Raspberry Pis and actually get a Python lab in public schools. And the cost of the whole lab it didn't even get to the $2,000, but the Department of Education said, we don't have money. So I try to go to some of the main los alcaldes and stuff like that, and they were like, what's the benefit for me?
Right.
So we don't have to. We try, but so there's the answer to that is that there's no real movement. There's nothing going on for public systems. Anybody else? Well, thank you very much. You've been a very good crowd. You have a lot of patience, so I'll see you around.